Hi guys, it's Joe from Backpacking in Your 30s, and I'm going to take you around the Iceland Ring Road in 5 minutes. But first, let's talk about a few things. First, Iceland is expensive. If you're from the US, figure on paying double for food and retail, and have either local currency, kronur, or an international credit card. Second, bring along a couple US to Euro outlet adapters. Okay, so the Ring Road basically follows the coast around the perimeter of the country, and I'll be covering what you can see in a typical 7-day tour. Note that this excludes the segment from Akureyri to Reykjavik. So first day of the Ring Road generally takes you around the southwest corner of Iceland, and includes the famous Golden Circle. First up, Thingvellir, where the ancient Icelandic parliament was established in the 800s. It's pretty cool history, plus you get to walk between two continental plates, the Eurasia plate and the American plate. Second, you'll head to a geothermal area, where you'll see geyser. By the way, that's not just a geyser, it's the geyser. It's the hot spring that the word is named after. Unfortunately, it's been inactive for years, but you'll see eruptions from a nearby geyser named Strokkur. Third, and right down the road from geyser, is Gullfoss, the Golden Waterfall. It's a pretty impressive two-tiered waterfall, but be aware that you can't get too close in the winter due to ice. The second day of the Ring Road takes you to two more waterfalls, Seljalandsfoss and Skogafoss, as well as the glacier Solheimajokull and the black sand beach at Reynisfjara. First, Seljalandsfoss is a beautiful waterfall with a 60-meter, 200-foot drop, with a walkway behind it for some truly spectacular views. But be aware this walkway is often closed in winter due to ice. Second, Skogafoss is a more massive waterfall with a similar height, but without a walkway behind it. However, there is a long set of stairs to a viewpoint over the top, which generally stays open all year. Third is the glacier hike to Solheimajokull. This is usually optional, but I highly recommend it if you're in moderate shape. There's absolutely nothing like walking over and between towers of ice and snow. Finally, there's the black sand beach of Reynisfjara. It has a stark beauty on its own, but also be sure to inspect the hexagonal basalt columns lining the beach. Just be careful for rogue waves. Several tourists have lost their lives here due to large waves hitting the beach unexpectedly. Okay, so third day usually includes Skaftafells National Park, the Glacier Lagoon and Diamond Beach next door, and the option for an ice cave adventure. First off, Skaftafells is not much to see in the winter, just some glaciers in the distance. But if you go in warmer months, you can hike to the Svartifoss waterfall. Jokulsarlon, the glacier lagoon on the other hand, is an Icelandic treasure. It's basically a large tidal lake where chunks of ice from the glacier Vatnajökull break off and float around, sometimes for years, before going through a narrow channel out to sea. The Diamond Beach is right across the road, and it's the place where the tide washes this escaped ice back onto shore. Here, you can find all kinds of natural ice sculptures, from the size of your fist to the size of a car. Lastly, most tours offer an ice cave expedition, and I highly recommend it. Actually going inside a glacier is a unique experience that shouldn't be missed. The blue color of the ice as the sun shines through the top is unbelievable, and you'll get some great photos. Alright, day 4 of the Ring Road. This one is mostly driving through the East Fjords and passing through little fishing villages along the way such as Djúpivogur, and ending the day more inland at Egilsstaðir. The East Fjords are one of the most sparsely populated areas of Iceland's coast, but not for lack of scenery. The beauty of the mountains meeting the sea, to me, is just astounding. Plus, some of the best fish I've ever eaten in my life was here. I predict this area is going to have its own tourism boom in the future. Day 5 takes you into the highlands, which basically means the middle of nowhere. You'll pass by the most remote little village in Iceland, Modrudalur, before moving on to see the sights around Lake Myvatn. The highlands of Iceland in winter are gorgeous in a stark, mildly terrifying way. You won't see another living thing for 100 miles. For that exact reason, the little village of Modrudalur is remarkable, and I would recommend stopping at the cafe and hearing the history of the town. Continuing on, you'll come across some hot springs and fumaroles, most notably at the Námafjall Geothermal area. If you can stand the rotten egg smell, you'll see some pretty cool stuff. Not far from there, you'll come to Lake Myvatn, and here you can see some wildlife, pseudocraters, lava pillars, and some nature baths. One of the coolest places here is the Dimmuborgir area, which is a park you can walk through and marvel at towers of lava rock pillars, and read the stories of trolls that legends say live there. Day 6 takes you to Goðafoss, and finally to Akureyri. Supposedly, Goðafoss is the waterfall that the Icelanders threw their pagan gods into after they accepted Christianity, hence earning its name Waterfall of the Gods. Next you move on to Akureyri, the capital of the north. Here you can find a variety of activities: whale watching, browsing the town, visiting a sustainable dairy farm, skiing, going to a beer spa, scuba diving next to a geothermal vent. The Icelanders are as creative as they are adventurous, and there's no shortage of activities here. Unfortunately, that's as far as we got on the ring road. A complete ring road tour would continue on to the west, visiting Snaefellsnes National Park, Kirkjufell Mountain, and a few other sites. If you do have any extra time on your trip, I would recommend going to the Blue Lagoon. It is touristy, but also very beautiful. If you do go early as you can in the morning when it's the least crowded. Well, that's all for now. Keep an eye out for future videos on the travel apps I use, selecting and packing a backpack, and a few others. I'm Joe with Backpacking in Your 30s. I'll see you around the world.